Hi guys. Yeah, God, it's been a really long time since I last posted, and I'm so sorry about that. It's been a really massive 2 weeks. I knew it was going to be a big 2 weeks. I just didn't realize how big it was, and I actually didn't realize how I was going to react with it. So it has taken me a while since my last videos to do this one, and for that I'm really sorry. It won't happen again, I promise. Yeah, so I think I might have briefly touched on it in my last video, but that weekend of my last video, I had a really big important event that I had organised called For the Love of Beck, and that was in memory of my best friend Beck, who passed away from brain cancer 2 years ago. So it started off as me wanting to do a bit of something that I could personally do to raise money for Beck's Cure Brain Cancer Fund called For Rebecca. And I sort of decided that I was going to do a makeup class for 50 locals from Beck's town in Colac in regional Victoria. And the next thing I knew, there was like 500 people invited, and men were sort of coming, and people were like, oh, maybe you should think about just doing drinks and not the makeup class, and it all got a little bit too crazy. So it ended up being this big gala night, and it was fantastic, and a lot of other Beck's girlfriends got involved and helped out, and yeah, the night was absolutely amazing, like really something that just, yeah, did some really good things for a lot of people, and in memory of Beck, you know, we were so proud, and a byproduct of an amazing night involving some incredible, generous people. We raised $22,000, which is crazy. So I originally started out with the makeup class wanting to raise a couple of thousand, maybe 3,000, and then when that kind of got scrapped and the gala night happened, I think I was sort of, without talking about it, I was saying 10,000, and we were really hoping for 10,000, though we didn't really talk about it. It was more important for us to have a great night with everyone. So next thing we knew, next minute, after an amazing night with, you know, some great laughs, we raised 22,000. So yeah, stoked. I did fall in an absolute heat the day after and 2 days after. Have never felt so emotionally drained in my life. I think I gave it everything, and for that I'm stoked. But yeah, I did have repercussions on my energy levels following. And yeah, God, it's been 2 weeks since, and I'm still really recovering. I don't know, I think I just must have given so much more than I realised. So then last weekend was a close friend's wedding, and just had lots of people staying and whatever. So apologies on the delay on these videos. Yeah, just the way the cookie crumbles, I think, with life. I'm going to tell you I'm going to be real, and me being real is saying, yeah, I haven't been able to emotionally or physically handle doing anything much these past 2 weeks. So yeah, like, I really wasn't going to do a video today. I'm still feeling really depleted, not just even from Beck's event. I think I'm pretty solid into the bridal season and just makeup season in general, and there's a lot going on, and I'm just feeling exhausted. Yeah, I've been feeling really unattractive again, I guess, just constantly feeling tired and whatever does that to me. So I was lying in bed this morning, you know, ready for the day, and I'm like, oh, I just feel so disgusting, and I stopped my thoughts. I was like, right, continue to sit on this little, you know, crap moment, or I can really get out there and have a crack, and I want to feel really pretty today. I've got my very close friend and my cousins going away drinks. They're moving to Peru for 6 months, which is really exciting for them. A little bit sad for me. I'm going to miss her and her family a lot, but I'm very excited. So they're going away drinks tonight, so we're just having a house party at theirs. So I wanted to make myself feel pretty. So yeah, obviously I couldn't do anything too structured or too glam, otherwise I'd be looking pretty weird around the campfire. So I've just gone for a bit of a smoky look, but kept it quite undone. So I think in a way it's also really good because we're really staging it up from my videos. So we've started off really small and basic, and we're bringing it up slowly, and eventually we'll start doing quite structured looks. At the moment, and as I talk about it in the next few minutes, it's quite easy makeup look. Obviously, they're a bit more dramatic. So I've had to close the blinds a little bit. It was getting really, really bright, so I had to sort of, the video coming forward up from here, you'll see it's a lot brighter. But towards the end of the video, my eyes started to crack the shit. So I've just closed the blinds and I'm just working on minimal light at the moment. So yeah, this is the look. I hope you enjoy. I have got a few requests coming up for some videos, so stand by for those. I'm really looking forward to doing them. But keep any requests coming, any feedback would be fantastic. I am going to do another video now talking about my chakra course coming to a finish and how that's affected me and the challenges and the good stuff moving forward. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. I hope you take something out of it. Yeah, go and make yourself feel beautiful. Bring that inner goddess out and show everyone how amazing you are. Enjoy. Bye. Alright, let's get into it. I'm gonna, as we've spoken about in prior videos, I like to do the eyes first, just because I can't be effed going back in and correcting any of the fallout that might have been kind of dribbled down under my eyes throughout the process. So my eyelids are not that oily, so I'm just going to go straight in with the eye primer, and this one is the good old trusty paint pot called Groundwork. It's just a little bit darker than Painterly, and I really like it just to get a bit of depth. Also, I tend to use it a lot whenever I can't be bothered like putting on heaps of makeup. I feel like it just gives enough depth on the eye while still priming to be used as an eyeshadow. So I normally, on my lazy days, I'll just throw this on with some mascara and out I go. I might just also chuck a little bit underneath on the waterline, the lash line. Alright, this is a real chuck-on look. I think with my clients, I like to do a mixture of all looks, but personally with me, I'm not a super structured girl. I like to be more sexy, smoldery, smudgy, kind of earthy and stuff. So I'm going to show you how I would do my makeup. And then in other tutorials, I can show you how we can more structure it up and stuff. So I'm going to go in with the paint pot called Deliciously Rich. This is by MAC. It's a limited edition, but they do, I think they've extended their range since I've left. So I think that there's a couple of, it's like a really beautiful sort of goldy bronze kind of colour. Yeah, good one to use as an eyeliner, but because it's quite light, I like to use it all over the base. It gives me a really nice amount of depth on the eye. So I'm just going to get this on my synthetic brush and I'm going to whack this on top of the eyelid. A few people have commented that my looks, I'm quite quick in my application. That is absolutely my style. I think I'm just a quick person in general, so I'm not rushing, it's just how I apply. Feel free to pause, don't feel obliged to keep up. It's just the way that I do it, so if you need to take a break, pause me, have a think about it, and come back into it. Now, I'm not going to go too high up into the crease because I don't want that shimmer to be in the crease, but I do want it to be a bit blended, so just kind of swish it through a little bit. So as you can see, it's kind of like just this, it's quite a flat kind of bronzy gold. I'll be adding the warmth through in a sec. Cool. So what I'm going to do is, I've spoken to you before about like my step process. So I never put a shimmer on and then the contour through the crease. I always put the contour through and then pop the shimmer on, all that kind of iridescent colour on last, because otherwise you put your shimmer down and then you put your crease colour on, which is matte, and you end up combining the two, and essentially you're undoing the whole reason why we're using a matte in the first place. So let's go with the contour colours first and get that depth around the eyes, and we're going to pop that shimmer on the lid at the end. So I'm going to grab my forever favourite, the 217 by MAC. Just gave these a clean, so they're a little wet. Wouldn't recommend working with them when they're too wet. And I'm going to go in with Saddle by MAC. I'm going to go with more sort of the oranges and bronzy tones this time, just so I can feel a bit more sexy. So like a windscreen wiper, I'm going through the crease. keeping it more central into that crease, and then as the product kind of wears off, you'll be able to even dust it off if you want to. You can kind of just sort of shimmy it over the very edge of it on the outer edge, and you'll see that it kind of just really softens it off. Now this is a buildable kind of look, so you can again stop at any stage that you want, or add more if you like. So I'm putting this on. You'll notice that I'm focusing more on this outer area and then just sort of lightly kind of coming through into the front of the eye. I call this the front and the back. The reason why is we're not trying, in my particular eye shape and in the shape that I'm doing today, we want to give that really beautiful pulled out look. And if I go dark in the inner corner, you're essentially pulling the eyes together. So that's a bit of a tip for people who have got quite close set eyes. You never want to make product too dense in here. You want to keep that quite iridescent and light, because that'll give it kind of that pull out effect. If people have quite wide set eyes, don't contour out here, bring your depth of colour and the darker colours in the centre, and that pulls it in, if that's a little heads up. So you can see I've kind of just blended that. So that would I would essentially call my blend out mid-tone crease colour. Then what I'm going to do is go in with some depth. So I'm going to go in with my trusty old mini shader, the 228 by MAC. I'm going to go in there with a dark brown colour. I'm just going to be pulling these colours from my palette. This is in Bark by MAC. It's a sort of a dark red tone brown. I don't want to use too flatter colours in there because it's these rich tones that make my eyes pop and more sexy. If I go quite flat, it's going to feel not as effective. So what I'm going to do, it's really bright outside, so it's hard to look up. Just keeping it on the outer edge of the eye. So just kind of chucking it under like that. And then what I'm going to do is go in with my eyeliner, if I can find him. And that's Coffee by MAC. It's a brilliant, brilliant colour. I'm just going to give it a sharpen. It's a very flat colour. It's one of the original like pencils. It just a heads up. It's quite hard. It's not really a soft pencil. So good for people who find that all their pencils melt or get soft. I'm just going to warm it up on my hand and just remove that really sharp point. So you can see it's like a dark tone matte. And I'm just going to whack that on, focusing most of the thickness on this outer edge, so that's sort of starting it. And then as I go inwards, I'm going to pull my eye tighter, and I'm going to really keep it close. Sorry, there's a cement truck outside my window. So as you can see, I'm kind of going thicker and then going thinner as we go in. I don't recommend when you're doing your eyeliner to pull too far out if you're going this far, because I find a lot of people who, when I do lessons with them, they pull out and then they kind of pull out towards the finger thinking that's where their eye ends, and when they snap it back, there's always an extra bit out the side. I only keep it tight as I work into my hairline on the lashes. So as you can see, it's kind of just there, thinner to thicker, and I'm going to go back in with that mini shader and smudge the crap out of it. Ed Sheeran's on. If anyone watched the disaster that was the Arias last night, you would be embarrassed to be an Australian. I just had to turn it off. I feel really sad. We've got such amazing music in Australia, and the Arias just make us look like a bunch of drunks. Pretty representative, I know, but the music, I think there was, I just wish it was a better production. I'd love to get in there and shake it up. So what I'm going to do now, it's really bright, so it's hard for me to do it, but just chucking that pencil on that inner rim. So we're going to go on this side. Beautiful. So now we're going to go in with a bit of shimmer. I'm going to use my finger just to kind of get it in there and press it in. I think I'm going to go with Bronze by MAC. It's in my palette. It's kind of a really sexy bronze colour. So I'm going to pick it up with my finger, and I'm just going to place it in the centre. So just in the centre, making sure it's blended. Yeah? And then what I'm going to do is get that mini shader brush, and I'm going to go underneath, just on that sort of middle third of the eye. We essentially want to mimic what we've done on top underneath. Then I'm going to go in there again with a sort of a different brush. It's a new clean 217, and I'm going to go in there with Carbon by MAC, and I want to get some depth and some sexiness in there, so I'm going to start to smoke this out. I don't want to use too much because I feel more sexier and more undone using more dark browns. As soon as you introduce black, I feel like it kind of creates a bit more of a stronger full-on look, and I think going to a barbecue, if I rock up wearing really clubby and really sort of dramatic makeup, it's going to look a bit inappropriate. Okay, going with that brush again, back in there with Embark, the dark brown. I'm going to go over the top of it. So really, I'm just kind of creating that depth. You can see how specific I'm being with the brush. I'm not moving it really far off that lid, just keeping it there and sort of sashaying it over that duck. I'm going to go back in there with the other 217 that I used, and I'm going to get that saddle again, and I'm just going to get in there and really soften all the edging off. Don't be scared, just get in there. If you have any issues and you find that you've made a mistake, just go in with a powder or concealer. So now I'm going to do the same thing I've done on top underneath my eye, and I'm just going to connect that there, and I'm going to just rub it underneath. This is what's going to really sex it out a bit. Loving that inner corner highlight, and I think it's really sexy and it definitely serves a purpose. Just be mindful of the actual tone that you use. I find that a lot of makeup artists and people who are new to it are using like quite a white highlight, and I feel like it looks really aggressive. That could just be their style, and that's totally cool. I just feel like it looks really unnatural. I'm just blending that mid-tone colour in with that highlight a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to go in with skin. I've already moisturised with my Cetaphil this morning. I've really stripped my skincare back. I've gone a lot more natural. I'll do another post or another video about my new skincare routine soon. Yeah, I've only just used Cetaphil on my skin. I'm just trying to keep it simple with all this hormonal stuff going on. I just really want to keep it clean. But I'm going to go in there now with just my foundation. I'm using Sculpt by MAC. I'm using NW25. It is a bit darker than my current skin colour. I'd probably be sitting on an NW20 now, but I want to add a bit of warmth. I'll blend it down my neck and probably put on a bit of bronze, like fake tan afterwards. No, I have not replaced my beauty blender. It's looking pretty ugly. I'm really excited. Sephora's opening up in Melbourne this weekend, so I'll get some then. I went into Mecca the other night when me and Ben went to High Point, and I went to look for some, but they only had their own brand, and I didn't really like the way they felt. Quite hard. I like a really soft sponge. So I'm just going to put this sort of quite generally all over my face. I'm not really going to put it over my nose, just because I'll put my concealer on there instead. Really get underneath my chin. So I'm going to go in with the Pro Longwear Concealer, my trusty fave, and I'm going to put that on the Beauty Blender, and I'm just going to pop it into the areas that I want the coverage. I am still avoiding that under eye area. I don't want to make it heavy with product, so. Great. So I'm going to go in now with some under eye concealer. I haven't thought about that actually. I'm going to use something that I sampled when I was working at MAC still. I went to the Clarins counter and sampled some of their, it's called Instant Concealer. I got the number 1 just to use, and I actually love them. I'm still using the sample, but as soon as I finish, I'll be going to get the concealer. It gives a really lovely medium to full coverage. And it holds really, really well. You can see mine's obviously very light. I like that look underneath the eye, so I'm going to go under there. Going in with the Real Techniques contour brush. Anything excess, I can take it underneath there just to strengthen my jaw, and just a little bit up here. It's almost say it's too bright. I'm going to turn that off. You can see that better. I can always go in there again with my sponge just to sort of press it into the skin and take off any excess. So obviously I press the sponge there, which is fine. I'll blend that off anyway later. And then just press that area in there. So that's concealer done. I'm not going to go too hardcore with it. Again, it's only a barbecue, so I'm not going to go off and glam myself up too much. So I'm just going to go in with this. It's a powder by MAC that was given to me as I won a prize when I went to manager's meeting. I think it's from Asian market. It's the Sheer Mystery Powder in Medium Plus. So normally I would use the Skin Finish, Mineralized Skin Finish. So I'm just going to run that over really lightly. I'm not going to set it too hard. Alright, now I'm going to go in with my bronzer. I'm going to just keep with my trusty old Smashbox one, which is that Smashbox Halo. I like most of Smashbox bronzers just because they're quite matte and they're not too orange. So I'm just going to pick that up on my MAC 168 or 160 brush. It's the white contour. I'm just going to shave off a bit more. Pick up a fair bit. Tap off any excess. And I'm going to start bronzing up. I don't want to make it too hard of a contour. I just want to get that depth of colour. So under the chin, get rid of that double chin of mine. And just a little bit down the side of the nose. Doesn't need to be perfect. Beautiful. So you can see it's like a soft bronze. I'm not going crazy and I'm not sweeping it everywhere, but I'm just keeping it in the areas I want the depth. Then I'm just going to go in with Worldly Wealth. It's a sort of a shimmery bronze blush, and I'm going to use that just up on the cheekbones, but kind of up towards the temple. And then I'm going to go in with Copper Tone, my favourite by MAC, and I'm just going to smile and I'm just going to push it a little bit on the cheeks. Cool. And then I'm going to go in with that shimmer that I tipped all over the keyboard. I'm actually going to even pick it up from the keyboard in my attempt to remove some. And I'm just going to pick it up on a brush and really lightly dust. I've been noticing so much highlighting going on, and I am a highlighting freak and I love it. I just feel like maybe people are forgetting the reason why we're highlighting, and I'm kind of feeling like there's a lot of really heavy highlighting, and done it in a professional sense. I think some people do it really, really well, but doing it really aggressively and just kind of creating this really iridescent bling on the cheek, I feel like it kind of just, I think we're forgetting why we're doing it. So I think really softly and chucking it on strategically makes our cheekbones look higher and it looks beautiful. And I'm just putting it down the center of my nose. But too much and too white, I think it just looks really aggressive, and I think it looks a bit cray. But that's my opinion. I just think that if I was teaching clients to do it, I would teach them to be quite subtle with it. I think the more heavy-handed they can be with it, the more aggressive and more agey it makes your skin. It can bring out the size of your pores and whatever. So, all right, so I'm going to go back in that crease colour with the saddle, and I'm just going to fix up there where the concealer sort of taken away. And I'm going to go back in there underneath the eye as well. So you can see that sort of smudging it out a little bit. I'm just fixing up that line. This is where you can create your shape. I'm kind of extending off from there and then rounding it across, but some people can make it quite strong and dramatic. So that's that done. I am going to go in just a little bit with Fluid Line, the Black Track by MAC. This is a black. I'm not going to put on too much, but I do want to give my eye a little bit of lift. So I'm going to get the little angle brush and get a bit of product on there. And I'm just going to really, really lightly put it on my lash line. You can see I'm not just doing this one continuous stroke. I'm just getting in there, moving it to the side a little bit, and then starting again. And again, the same rule applies. Make it a little bit thicker on the outer edge. This is going to make my eyelashes look a bit fuller. Like I was mentioned before, my eyelashes are so thin, so I need a little bit of depth. Don't look at me and go, holy shit, I can't do eyeliner the way that Hillary can do it. She does it really quick and blah, blah, blah. I get it. I know. I do it good. That's really great English. I do it quickly and I do it quite confidently, but that's because I've been doing it for 10 years and I've been doing it a lot. So please don't feel intimidated by doing this technique. It's really, really lovely when it's done properly. Obviously, I would suggest putting your chin up. I would suggest maybe even holding your eyelid a bit tighter if you need to. I used to have to do that as well, but I think I've just gotten a little bit more confident and lazy as I go. So I'm just cleaning up that line. Getting really close to the lash line, make sure there's no gaps. So I did that whole classic, I love all those ads, like those memes where people are like, draw all over their face with their eyeliner. I did the same thing, so that one's a little bit thicker, so I'm just going to go in here and just thicken it up a little bit. Alright, whatever, you could stare at it for years and go, it's not perfect. So now I'm just going to throw on lashings and mascara. I'm going to go in with my trusty favourite. People ask me all the time what mascara I love and use. I do use a variety of different ones for different clientele, depending upon their lash. I don't think that one mascara suits all, and what would work for me doesn't necessarily work for you. And the reason why it's similar to a foundation is that whilst your skin is very different to the next person, so are your lashes. So my lashes are very, very fine. I do have a lot of them, but they're so small and fair, so I need something with really lots of volume. So this one's amazing for girls who find they don't have heaps of volume or a lot of lash. However, if you've got longer lashes and quite full volume, I would suggest not to use this because it can make them go very clumpy. But I love this, and a lot of people don't like it because of the wand, and I used to hate it as well, but now I love it. So I'm just going to get in there. I want to try and show you the difference. I'm going to like move my stuff out of the way. So I'm going to, people have been saying, God, you got to have so much confidence to sit so close to a camera. I'm like, yeah. We've all got flaws. So you can see one eye compared to the other. So that does a lot for me. I just recently tried the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I think I showed it in one of my videos. It is beautiful, but I don't find I get enough volume out of it. So I'm just going there. Don't pump the mascara. Get in there and kind of swivel it around. Those that pump it are just putting air into the product and it dries it out. So get in there and sort of shimmy up. Everyone has their own mascara technique. So you can see the difference on me. It's a lot, which is good. Excuse me. So then I'm going to be doing my brows. My brows are kind of getting thinner. As I get older, they're definitely, I think it happens to a lot of people, is their brows get thinner. I'm noticing I'm starting to get patches and stuff. So I was going to do a bit more of a fuller brow with you guys today. I think I might pull back just because I can see that my makeup's looking quite pretty nightimey already. I was going to use the Anastasia, whatever, dip brow and taupe just to give me definition underneath. But I think I'm just going to go in with the Brow Wiz and keep it quite clean. So starting with a line, I'm not going as aggressive at the front, but I still want to get a bit of depth under there. And then I'm going to pull it across, and then I'm coming around into my arch. Really focusing on this arch, and then coming down into the end. So that's my underneath area. Then what I'm going to do is brush the hairs up, and I'm going to continue the line on top. So you can see I'm actually thickening my brow, but really I'm not actually moving outside of my hair. And then pulling down. And then I'm just going to colour it a bit there, and then I'm not going to go in there with any lip liner. Like I said, I want it to be quite undone. So I'm using a limited edition by MAC called Panda Me. It's kind of like a really rich, taupey, bronzy colour. I would say something similar would be like Kinda Sexy or Taupe by MAC, or even Velvet Teddy. I would just use that. This has got a slightly reddy undertone. So you can see it's a really undone look. Alright, so I just had to cut that part out. I just put some black track in my inner waterline, but I haven't got a mirror really close to me, and I stabbed myself in the eye, which was a bit of fun. Happens to the best of us. Anyway, so I put my eye's a bit watery now, so I'm just going to let it chill. It's also really hard. I'm not used to working with such bright lights. I normally work with more of a softer light. But obviously for the sake of these videos, to make sure you guys can see it all properly, I'm sitting at a big window and it's making my eyes watery. So that's probably a great tip for you guys as well. If you find that you get watery eyes, it could be because you are in direct sunlight or you're getting ready in too bright lights. So anyway, I'm just going to finish the look off with a little bit of a gloss. It's the MAC one. I think, again, it was a limited, but I think something similar would be like Lust. It's like a nudie gloss. Again, use as a gloss. I wouldn't use anything too pigmented, something a little bit more clear. Anyway, so that's that look. I know, it's where I'm supposed to pose, I know. Cool. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much. Bye.